Propelio TV is sponsored by Noble Mortgage and Investments, Batchkip Tracing, Think Multifamily, CreativeCashflow.com, and Lifeiner.
So guys, a lot of you sent questions in, and this is going to last approximately 4 hours, so get comfortable. No.
Wait, is it?
No. A lot of the questions were really about the theme for today, which if you haven't picked up on is lead generation, right? If you don't have leads in this business, you don't have a business at the end of the day. So should we take a second for the guys that haven't spoken yet and maybe introduce themselves? Why don't we go ahead? Let's start with you, Donovan. You pass the mic around there too, yeah.
Hey, my name is Paul Getter, the Internet Marketing Nerd from Naples, Florida.
My name is Pace Morby out of Phoenix, Arizona.
You pass that mic. We got to share mics.
My name is Donnie. I'm a DFW native. Not native, but I live here.
Nobody's native in DFW, right?
Once you live in Texas, you're from Texas.
Yep.
Carlos Reyes, Phoenix, Arizona. We are also in the DFW market, and I love Texas. It's the greatest country in the world.
Things are a lot bigger here.
Christina Krause out of Delaware.
Awesome. So let's just kind of go over, this is always a common question. What is the best, we have several questions around the same thing, so I'll kind of summarize them. What are the best lists that are working right now? I know you hate this question. What would you say are the best lists right now, Christina?
It's a legit question, but you guys get what I was saying, right? Why you need to ask a better question than that. But probate, for sure. Anything that has a level of financial distress also associated with it is a very high value situation. The highest value lead lists right now are situationally driven more than they are characteristic of the seller or the house driven. They're situationally driven, and financial distress kind of leads the pack.
So why don't maybe somebody else could name a few lists that you always hit. How about that? Go ahead.
Okay. So during my short presentation, it was no data. That was a great list. Absentee owner with equity, 20, 30% or more. But more importantly, what we need to be talking about is who's handling those leads at the other side of the phone. Yes. Because everybody hits the same list, but who is converting those leads? That's what we need to be talking about. But yeah, those are the lists that we hit. I just feel like our guys are pretty amazing acquisition managers, and that's why they're able to convert more leads. Their lead to deal conversion is much higher than a lot of other people because of their sales training.
So yeah, for us it's very similar. We focus more on the conversion more than the actual list because we've grew to a point where we saturate markets in a few hours, so we literally buy the entire state. So it's kind of like you can buy lists all day, but if you can't sell shit, you're not going to do shit.
All right.
Sorry.
Pace, anything to add to?
I have two lists that are a little bit different. Yes, I do probate. Yes, we do all this. It's kind of the same stuff, but there's two lists that I do a little bit differently. One of them is a short list. It's only 600 people deep, and it's actually not sellers. It's probate attorneys. So I spent a good amount of time getting face-to-face, belly-to-belly with probate attorneys. The other list that I get, I'd probably say half of my deals right now are from this list, and it's mobile homes. If anybody follows me on Instagram, I do a ton of mobile home stuff, and I fell into that in January. I looked back in 2018 and I looked at my KPIs and where I was getting most of my deals, and I was looking at mobile homes. I'm like, man, I'm making $18,000 to $25,000 on a freaking mobile home, which is the same amount of money I'm making on a single family stick build. What the hell's going on? So we started looking into it a little bit more, got educated about what year they needed to be and the fixation and all sorts of stuff that goes along with mobile homes. And we pulled a list of 12,000 mobile homes, and we've been crushing that for the last 6 months, getting probably a deal or two a week just from that list. So if anybody has questions about mobile homes, here's the first answer. Don't touch mobile homes that don't own the land. That's number one. So if you pull a list and it's in a mobile home park, it might as well be a car that you can drive, or a house that you can drive, basically. It really is a mobile home. You want a mobile home that owns the land. Second, if you have questions about comping them, reach out to me on Instagram and I'll walk you through a couple of the deals. I'm happy to do it just over video or FaceTime or whatever, if anybody has any questions. But those are two lists that a lot of people don't talk about that I get a lot of deals from. So hopefully that helps.
Can I just say something real quick about that too? If you study the deals that you've done, or you study deals that have been done in your area, and you determine what are the common characteristics of the deals, do a deal autopsy of the deals that you've done and or deals that have been done in your area. It will tell you what the high value situations are, what the age group is. It'll tell you how to filter lead lists for yourself.
So you're the data queen, right? But a lot of people don't really know how to track their data. Like a lot of people use Podio for CRM, and there's a lot of other CRMs out there. But the reporting, for example, in Podio is not very good.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of tools. Go ahead. So share what you're using to kind of track your performance.
So guys, if you go to investorautomation.com, you can literally buy a Podio that tracks down all of your KPIs, not only on your marketing, but also on your employee performance and productivity. You can go to investorautomation.com and buy a Podio called the Hercules, and then you'll be tracking down all your KPIs. Who has the Hercules in here? Anybody have a Hercules? Donnie has a Hercules. There you go. You got Hercules right here. Oh, we got 2 hands up. Yeah, thank you, bro. So yeah, you actually could get a Podio that has all those key factors in it.
And if I said it before, I don't know how many VAs or other people that I have tracking data. If that's not your thing, you got vendors here, you got Rocket Station here, who is a VA provider. You have people who you can put into place to get this data for you. So don't make the excuse of it's not me, it's not for me, because I could do the same thing. Or you could say it's a worthwhile investment. Hire somebody to go study the data for you. It's not that hard. There are VA companies like Rocket Station who literally train their VAs how to do this and can drop them into your business and have them study that kind of data.
And how about managing lists? So what are some tools? There's obviously some stacking lists or some other tools. A lot of people just use Excel. Maybe we can start with you down at the other end, Pace, and Donnie, talk about how you're managing lists, direct mail lists, let's say, or it could be data lists for cold calling or text message marketing.
Actually, I'm not going to answer this question because I actually learned this from the All In event last year. So I'm going to let Carlos answer this question.
So you can go to, thank you, Pace, much love. You can go to stackmylist.com. You got that, and then you got I think Joe Taylor also has one, right? What is that one called? Property List Manager. So stackmylist.com, Property List Manager. It's amazing, guys, to see the motivation. Like if, let's just say that, you stack your list and then you have, Mr. Jamil here on your tax default and, all kinds of other stuff that are going on in his life. That list stacker will expose him. I mean, I hate to use that word, but that will expose him as a hotter lead that you should probably stay on top of. So yes, list stacking is very important.
Quick thing for the newbies that are cold calling yourself. Is anybody cold calling yourself? Anybody? You can raise your hand. Yeah, there's quite a few people in here. So quick tip, you can actually go to listsource.com and add multiple criterias to your list to narrow it down and make it more of a quality list. Because I know list stacker and stuff like that's a little bit more advanced when you have bigger lists. But when you guys buy the list, you can add as many criteria as you want to make it, pretty valuable, I guess.
That is stacking.
Yeah, it's list stacking.
And by the way, these list stacking softwares that they're talking about, it's taking the lists that you already have. They don't provide the list. They're taking all these lists that you've already mailed, and they're determining, are there people in multiple lists? And if they fall into multiple lists, then the theory is that that's a more motivated seller because they have a lot of factors that are pressing them to sell the home.
Yeah, so for example, what's more quality of your time, or just calling people and you don't know what's going on versus absentee, pre-foreclosure, high equity, et cetera, et cetera. You can keep adding to that criteria on ListSource skip trace it, and then, hey, you might have like 300 or 400 people, but you know those are really valuable leads because the motivation's already there, times like 5.
Does everybody understand that? That's probably one of the biggest innovations over the past. You wouldn't think you could get creative with direct mail or a lot of other data, but it's just stacking lists. If they're on a number of different lists, each one of those is like a point that's like a motivational flag, and the more flags, the better, right? If they just got divorced and all sorts of other things going on, like that's more motivation than just they're old and have equity, right? So, great. So I've got a question here. This is a little bit of a turn here. How do you set yourself apart from other wholesalers or investors when you're meeting with a seller? So this is a competitive market. How do you set yourself apart?
There's a handful of ways that I do that, but it's a little bit unfair that not everybody can employ right away. But if it's ultra competitive, there are times where I am competing against Adrian. Your guys, he's so good. So there's times where I'm competing with even guys in my own market, friends of mine. These guys can definitely do this, but newbie wholesalers don't have this opportunity. Sometimes, like yesterday, I had an appointment with a seller, and he says, well, I need cash now. So other wholesalers are not willing to do that, and if I'm committed to the deal, I'll give him cash right then and not right then and there. Yeah, I'll give him a cash advance. That helps. A lot of times, if a seller is asking for a specific number, let's say I do my numbers and I say, okay, this is a 210 purchase, and the seller is asking for 215. That means they've already received an offer at 210, right? That means they're already talking to 3 or 4 other wholesalers. So in that situation, I'll go out to the property. That's a way to actually, cut yourself ahead of the guys that are doing virtual. Virtual is the way to go. I think keeping a long story short, virtual is a way easier way to do it. But in order to cut an advantage, get belly to belly with people. Those are the 2 easiest things, I think, just giving cash advances and getting face to face with people.
For us, it's just the value add. If somebody's motivated, you got to find what those motivations are and really expand on that. Most people think that it's just the sale of the house, how much money they're going to make. You got to understand that people don't really care about money like you think that they do. Because if they actually cared about money that much, then why are you on the phone with them? Why aren't they working? Why aren't they hustling physically right now if that's all they cared about? So you have to really cater to what people actually care about, what they value, and really expand on that. And that's the entire reason why they're doing the transaction. So if you're skipping past all of what they need versus what you want or what you think they want, it's all irrelevant. So that's kind of what works for us and our sales guys.
Great. To pull you in here, Paul,
Did
talk a little bit.
you want me to answer that or no?
Go ahead.
Okay, so with our company, right, real quick.
I'm gonna sit back and
Yeah, with our company, honestly, our people, like Pace said, we have some really killer acquisition managers. They're some of the best in the country, in my opinion. And, that's how we separate ourselves from other companies, is we invest into our people development. And, we spend a lot of time training them, building confidence, and that's what makes a difference. They're able to dig deeper than your next person because a lot of these folks have, money is part of the equation, but more importantly is whoever connects with that person, is that correct? Whoever builds rapport with that person is the one that's going to be able to dig deeper and ask the real questions of what is the true motivation behind the sell. Therefore, that is how we separate ourselves from other companies, is our people. Our people are, all our acquisition managers, they're skilled in that aspect of digging deeper and finding out what the true issues are, and that's how we get the deal over other people. And sometimes cheaper than other people.
Great. So
you want me to answer that?
Get everybody to answer.
Just kidding. I'm not.
Answer something?
Yeah, Paul.
I just wanted to flex like he did.
Yeah. Paul, for you, why don't you talk a little about the importance of consistency in marketing?
Sure. I think when it comes to consistency, people are looking for a relationship that they can trust. One of the things that internet marketing brings is a relationship that says, I'm always there for you. Internet gives you the ability that you are almost like omnipresent. You're giving them content. You're giving them value. You're connecting with them on a regular basis. And you can hit people in several different directions. You can hit them on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, email, videos that follow them everywhere they go. And that builds a relationship, especially when you're doing big transactions like this. There's that trust bridge that you have to cross. And so they don't know, like, if you're just some person that shows up randomly and you're gone the next day, they don't know if they can trust you. But when you have this presence that is everywhere, like they go to Facebook, you're there. They go to Instagram, you're there. They go to YouTube, you're there. You go to Fox News, they're there. And you're just everywhere. They know this is someone legitimate. This is not some little rinky-dink company, but this is someone that has invested time in marketing, and that's a way that it quickens that bridge of trust.
Everybody want to answer that one too? I'm just messing. Okay, so let's talk about a lot of the questions are around if you don't have a lot of money, how to get started with lead generation. There's driving those things that you mentioned, Carlos, that are hard to scale, right? But everybody has to start wherever they're at. So maybe once you start off with just sharing, if you don't have a big budget, how do you get started?
If you don't have, if you're trying to get like going in wholesaling, first and foremost, that's your entry level into real estate investing is wholesaling if you don't have a lot of money. And you can go to allinwholesaling.com, literally get a course there for a few $100, and that will teach you how to actually get some traction going and how to get going, in, as far as like your development in real estate. So that alone, and it's not like I'm trying to, every guy wants to sell their course, right? But that's not the point. The point is you invest into some education, and you can also get so much free education like on YouTube and podcasts, right? You get so much education these days that when I started, the only education around was probably like Sean Terry, Flip to Freedom, and you know what I mean? Like very few. Now there's so much like free content out there that you can get going with zero or with some or little to no money. Like even the presentation today, this is a free event. And I literally said, hey, look, man, if you make for sale by owner Zillow offers every single night before you go to bed, make 100 of them. Something's gonna hit, at some point. You know what I mean? Craigslist, people, believe it or not, still sell their houses on Craigslist. There's so many people, there's so many different factors you can do. You spend $80 on bandit signs, handwritten bandit signs like the way I used to do it with the marker. You can probably land, it's gonna take a long time, but you'll eventually land the deal. So there's so many different avenues you can take now to get your real estate entrepreneurship going.
So, like a great answer, or not a great answer, I don't know if it's a great answer until I say it, but I feel like a lot of people generate a lot of excuses in their brain on why they can't do something. I don't have any money, so how do I get into real estate, right? Well, quick solution, how do you find money to get into it, right? So, for example, bandit signs is not free. That's how I got my first deal. I was literally laying poster boards from Walmart, pay like $3 and cut it in half just to be conservative with a permanent marker and hanging it to a tree. But a lot of people generate those excuses in their brain. It's like, I don't want to spend money. If you really want to scale your business, you have to pay something. You have to pay dues. Whether it's hustling, adding value to people, spending money, or whatever it is, you have to pay dues. It's not just going to come to you. It's not fucking free. You have to pay for it in some type of way. So for me, and what worked for me when I first got started was bandit signs. I'd buy poster boards, literally hang them to trees, and with a nail and a hammer and permanent marker, and that's how I got my first deal. Right, and then I invest majority of that back into, now I'm actually going to buy bandit signs and lay them and put in the work to actually get the deal. So a lot of what people say, how do I spend nothing to get something? You have to pay something. You have to put in the work. You have to put in dues. It's going to cost you something.
Go ahead, Paul. Talk about maybe a little bit about using social media.
Yeah, people often ask me the question, which social media platform should you use? And I always tell them, use the one that you will use. Some people don't like Instagram, but they like Facebook. So invest in time. And here's the cool thing about social media: it is free. You can start an Instagram page for free, a Facebook page for free, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever, and then you just hustle. You message people, you connect with people. We do a lot of paid traffic, but what paid traffic does is it just accelerates what you have to do organically. So you can message people, you can comment on posts, you can build relationships. It's social media, so you actually socialize on it, and you can build relationships. And if you know how to sell, you can make money on social media.
Go ahead, Pace.
I get this question all the time on Instagram and people face to face, and the question basically is, if you are going to start today, I took your cell phone away from you, I took your friends away from you, I took your network away from you, and I basically put you in a random town in the United States, how would you go about getting a deal? So I actually thought about doing a YouTube video and literally having somebody drop me off at a gas station, taking my iPhone away from me. Don't give me an Android. I'll take a flip phone over an Android. But take my iPhone, take my contacts, take everything away from me. Sorry, I'm Team Blue. I'm Team Blue Bubble. Sorry. So I know these two guys right here. If you took them and you took everything away from them other than their knowledge and their hustle, they could go anywhere in the country, and within a day or two, they could have a deal. Okay, and it's the same reason why somebody who, there's a couple of dudes, Donovan's one of them, that walk around here and they have actual body mass, they have muscle on their body. Okay, I know, believe me, just follow me. How many times have anybody in here gone to the gym or thought about going to the gym and you were more excited about, oh, I gotta get some new shoes, I gotta get some new shorts, oh, I gotta get that gym bag, oh, shit, I can't start working out tomorrow, I gotta get a new water bottle or whatever it is. Am I wrong? Meanwhile, if you just turned around and did push-ups, you'd build muscle, you'd start breaking that shit down immediately. You could be butt-ass naked and you could do push-ups and you're gonna build muscle. Meanwhile, people are making excuses, I gotta buy this, I gotta buy that, whatever. But back to what Donnie said, go out and knock doors. Go out and do bandit signs. Go spend a little bit of time. Even if you don't have the money, do the push-ups to build the muscle. I shouldn't be talking because I'm skinny as shit, but I'm just saying. I know that from experience, and so if you guys follow these dudes, they're not putting in 3 hours of work a day. Sometimes I look at Carlos's Instagram, and I'm like, this dude balances life incredibly well. The fact that he can spend time with his wife and his kid, basically his whole entire family, and dominate and do everything else is because of the work ethic. That's rule number 1. Do the push-ups to build the muscle. That's it. It's not about the shoes. It's not about the shorts or the water bottle. It's about doing the work. And if you look at anybody in the industry getting deals in any sort of excess, 5 deals or more, it's because they're doing the push-ups.
Yeah. Good stuff. Or they're playing a lot of ping pong. Right?
It's a little about the shoes, let's be honest.
Yeah, why don't you guys all share your... We never heard what your Instagram was, Paul.
My Instagram is Paul. P-A-U-L, Paul. Not like Paul_123, it's just Paul.
You guys want to share? Go ahead, down the line, I guess. Somebody just asked to share your Instagram accounts.
Oh, Pace J. Morby. Pace J. Morby. P-A-C-E-J-M-O-R-B-Y. Pace J. Morby.
Mine is the Donovan Ruffin, so TheDonovan Ruffin.
Official Carlos Reyes.
I legit do not have Instagram. I am quietly taking over the world.
What's your MySpace
Thank you very much. What's my MySpace? You're such a jerk.
Mine's Mike.Hambright if you want to follow me. Let's talk about this. How has real estate investing changed your life?
So many lessons, because what you guys don't know about me is that when the market turned, I mentioned briefly the apartment condo conversion, it took me out. I am, 4 years out of personal bankruptcy. I had a major, and we had many multi-million-dollar real estate business that went under, went through a reorganization, bankruptcy, and then I had to file for personal bankruptcy because we had personally guaranteed everything. And in the middle of that, I had a marriage that fell apart that had nothing to do with that. But honestly, what real estate has taught me, frankly, is just resilience. And I just absolutely refused to quit. And I just needed to understand what it was that went wrong so that I could make sure that I never duplicated that mistake again. And if you will do that, again, you have to know why you fail, and you have to know why you succeed. It's really important that you understand that, because otherwise you're just going to continue to duplicate mediocre processes, and that it'll just kill you. We've got to be accountable to greatness, and for me, real estate does that.
So before we move on here, real fast, you've been through a couple cycles, I've been through a couple cycles, so talk about what you learned last time. You just shared a few things, but what you learned through a last cycle that we might be going through now or coming up that you'll do differently, just so folks can learn how to prepare for that.
100% is vision. You have to know where you're going, because the deal that took us down, and it was one deal, it was one big deal that took us down, and we would have never done it if we had known what we were going after, and we had known when our cup was full. If we had defined when our cup was full. Guys, you gotta know, you've gotta have a balance, and you have to have a vision for your life, and you have to know when enough is enough. You have to define that, because if you don't, you're just gonna keep running and keep running and keep running. We'd have never done that deal. I could have retired when I was 40 and never worked another day in my life. And we did a deal not out of greed, but simply because we did not define what the vision was for our life. And so it was just, why not? The opportunity is there. Sometimes you need to turn opportunities away because you don't have a balance. You need to make sure that you're spending, that you have a vision for your family and how they fit into everything, and what your business is, and what you will and you won't give on. Hands down, that's what I learned. I will never, ever again not know where I'm going and know when enough is enough.
How about you, Carlos? How's real estate changing?
So I became a citizen in 2012. I've only been a citizen for 7 years. God bless America. This is the greatest country on earth. So for those folks, I get so pissed off when I hear people just talk shit about America. They fucking haven't lived somewhere else. I have. You know what I mean? I lived in where there's fucking dirt roads and, just cardboard, houses and things like that. So, I went from being, obviously literally dirt poor to having financial freedom, because financial freedom and time freedom are two totally different things. Everybody talks about financial freedom, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have your freedom of time yet, right? So more importantly, yes, it's changed my life significantly. It's a complete 180. But more importantly, it's changed the lives of people around me. More importantly, it's changed the lives of my mother, my wife, my kids, my friends. That's more important to me than just me. That is what's been the game changer for me. Is it's changed the lives of those people around me. I've been able to as all tides rise, so do the boats, And I've brought up everybody that I can with me, and I've made that's one of my life's purpose now, is to help other people become financially free and have their freedom of time. So that's the way that it's changed my life. I'm living the American dream.
Awesome, great.
And if you don't mind, I'm gonna go take a piss real quick. I'll be back, okay?
I was gonna ask when's the piss break.
He was serious.
Leave the microphone here.
Give me a Tito's while you're back
A little
there.
side note, my wife and I have been married for 15 years this year, and I was mic'd up before our wedding, and I went to the bathroom with the microphone on. Yeah.
You're like, oh.
They edited the recording. Go ahead. How's real estate investing changed your life?
Oh man, I guess you could say where do you begin, where do you start, where do I start? But it's been a journey for sure. Because even before real estate, you go through certain trials and tribulations in your life for a reason. And everybody in here has issues. Everybody in here has problems. Everybody has your own challenges that you go through all day, every day. you know? But there's a reason why you guys go through those challenges. It's because God is testing you. God is challenging you. He is putting you to the limit, and he's testing you to see if you can overcome these challenges, to see if you're responsible enough to handle what's about to happen. You see what I'm saying? So for me, when real estate was in my life, it's a challenge, you know? You overcome all these challenges, you try to figure it out, get a deal, flip a house or whatever. But the reality of it is, it's a business, you know? You have to treat it like a business. And so for me, how it affected my life, well, before I move on to that, if you guys all heard the terms like, is the glass half empty or is it half full? What do you guys always say? Half full, right? No, it's about who's pouring the fucking glass, right? So that's part of being a business owner. So with real estate, it's really affected me because, like Carlos is saying, I was able to really change people's lives and put other people on because I could afford to do so. Transactions are bigger, obviously you make more money. But on top of that, the time freedom that's involved with that is God trusts me with time freedom. God trusts me with financial freedom because he knows I'm going to impact more people. He knows that if I have more time, that I have more time to spend with new individuals to bring them up, right? If God knows if I have more money, I'm going to reinvest that to bring other people up, right? Because it's not about you. It's not about, I mean, even beyond your family, right? You can have all the success in the world and put your family on, and like my mom was retired when I was 21, you know, but what comes after that? Like what happened, like everybody has their why and why they're doing things, but what happens after that? Everybody has their why and then they achieve their why, and then guess what happens?
I see why you really left. You come back double-fisted.
Thank you, sir.
I brought Donnie one.
Oh, okay.
He knows I don't drink vodka. He's trying to get me sick. But anyways, vodka's for girls. Whiskey's for men. Anyways, where was I? But yeah, it's like, yeah, you put other people on, and back to what I was saying is, once you achieve your why, what comes after that? Because there's so many people that achieve what they actually want to achieve and then become stagnant and they hit a plateau. But then what happens with plateau? You keep doing the same thing over and over, and then you become depressed, and it's just an ongoing term. Especially when you're competitive, you want more and more and more. So we have a saying, and I have a saying, where it's like, what's the fucking game plan? It's to take over the fucking world, and it's to change the world for a better place to be. So for me, I'm just a product, just like anybody else in here. I'm nothing, and I'm just getting started like everybody else.
So you went through a bankruptcy a couple years ago. I don't have that exact story, but I have a similar story. Last year, I had somebody file bankruptcy on me, close to $1 million. So anybody that knows me knows I was a contractor for a long time, and I wish I could jump into a time machine right now and go back 10 years ago and say, don't waste your time doing anything else besides real estate investing. And anytime people say, hey, why do you want to get on the stage, or why do you want to help people? Honestly, I'm trying to save everybody 10 years of their life. So that's part of how it's changed my life, is that I can turn around and help people. But last year, I made the decision. I was running a big construction company, about 125 employees, and Open Door was our biggest client. We helped them penetrate into Dallas about 3-4 years ago. We helped them penetrate into Vegas, but we were their main contractor in Phoenix. Making really great money, loving what we were doing, but we took on some other clients, and those clients ended up taking us for about $1 million last year. Local guy, if I told you his name, Carlos, you'd be like, yeah, I know that name. Very well-known guy in Phoenix took me for $1 million last year. So the beautiful thing about real estate is when I work, a title company calls me and says, why haven't you picked up a check? As a contractor, guys, I can't explain to you, if you have not been in that world, you are not a contractor, you are a bill collector. You are collecting bills. You are basically being the bank for your clients, and then you're hounding and hounding and hounding, and you're wondering why you're not getting paid. In real estate, you help somebody, and the title company's part of their job is making sure you get paid. In fact, I did a deal with Jesse Burrell. You know Jesse Burrell. I forgot I did a deal with this guy named Jesse Burrell in Phoenix in February, and I just got the check in last week. It wasn't a lot. It was like $6,000. But I forgot that money was there, and the title company's like, dude, get this off of our desk. Here's your money. So get in an industry where other people are paid to make sure you get paid, right? You do the work, you get paid. And that's a big part of how my life changes. I worked 100 hours a week as a contractor, but I had to hound people to get paid. In this, I work 100 hours and I get paid, and other people are making sure that I am getting paid. So that's a really big way that my life has changed, and I wish I could have had this conversation with myself when I was 22 years old. I envy the guys in this room, the girls in this room that are figuring this out now and don't do anything else but this. I promise you, don't do anything else but this.
So, Paul, I got a question for you about a question around using your personal page on social media versus a business page, and then also around separating your personal life, like out doing family stuff or drinking with the boys or whatever, and sellers researching you, potential sellers researching you. So talk about how to have a personal life on social media and a business life, how to separate that.
Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, I've got over 1 million followers, and I was just talking to someone in the challenges, regardless of how many followers you have, if someone says something negative about you, it still hurts. Regardless if you don't know them. I mean, if you're human, I know people are like, oh, just let haters be haters. But there's certain things that if people say about you, like for me, I try to do everything at the highest level of integrity. And so if somebody sees my ads on Facebook or Instagram, there's people that they know nothing about me, and they'll say scammer. I'm like, why do they call me a scammer? They don't know me. I'm not a scammer. I do everything right, and I've got integrity. And they're like, scammer, you're stealing people's money. I'm like, no, I'm helping people. So now I've got settings that if you say scammer, it just automatically blocks you and stuff. I think there's a part of it that you do have to understand. That I've actually read a statistic that people that are trolls typically have a psychological disorder. I don't know people that just like sit around and they'll see stuff and then they want to comment on people's posts. Yeah, they're definitely miserable. You got time to make rude comments on people's posts. So either block them or just ignore them. And I have a. On Instagram, it's business and it's my professional life, and then I have private Instagram pages where I've got my family and everything like that, because it's one thing when they start coming after me and calling me scammers, liar, and they say stuff, but when you start saying stuff about my family, well, I'm going to do more than block you. So,
What are you gonna do, Paul?
Well, I'm going to roll up my so.
A little whoop ass?
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I think, just to maintain your sanity. And then there comes a point where you just have to have somebody do it for you, because you can get emotionally connected and engaged in it, and it can consume it. So you just have someone manage it for you. So I've got people on my team that help me manage my social media and do things and respond to comments. And for the most part, if you send me a message on Instagram, I do respond to it. But, when things get busy, you have people do things for you. But you have to realize that all of the social media and everything like this, nothing can replace what we're doing right here. Shaking hands, meeting people. When I first got started in internet marketing, I used to be this guy that just sat behind his computer and didn't go to events, didn't connect with people, and a couple different reasons. I felt like everything that could be done, I could do it in front of a computer, because I did very well. I worked with some of the biggest names in entrepreneur space and was very successful. And I didn't go to events like this because I thought it could all be done from a computer. And then there was another part that I thought, well, if I start to put myself out there and start to go to events, that people will maybe try to take your clients or try to steal your business and things like that. And then you realize that when you have relationships with people, it doesn't matter. Like if we are friends, we're connected. Someone else might come in and say, hey, I can do exactly what Paul's doing. I'll do it cheaper than he does. And they may be able to legitimately do what I do. But because we have a relationship, you're going to say, I don't care, I'm working with Paul. So it's so important to realize the value of real relationships that you can't find online.
So.
Well, let's give it up to everybody in here so far because these are the real hustlers. Everybody's getting fucked up. Everybody's
Yes.
I was in your guys' seat a few years ago, and all I wanted to do was learn and surround myself with people that were winning. And especially, if you guys are sitting up front,
So let me say this, guys.
Why are you guys in the back?
Guys,
scoot up. We want to see you guys. We want to see your expression. Can you guys please move forward?
Real quick.
Could the real Slim Shady stand up? No, I'm serious. Can you guys move forward?
I flew in from Phoenix, and everybody's too busy getting fucked up out there. You can do that any day of the week.
Can you get let's move forward?
Let me say this. All right, I'll say this. We throw an event called Momentum. Pace has been there, right? Momentum. And by the way, I absolutely love everybody in Phoenix. It's so crazy because it's so competitive there, but everybody loves each other. Everybody roots for each other. Jamil, Pace, Jesse, Evo, Jared, right? Nobody's throwing dirt on each other. Everybody's winning there somehow, some way. But we throw an event called Momentum. There's another one coming up on September 13th. Who's ever heard of Momentum? The all-in event. Okay. We charge $5,000 a seat. And this is a free event. And people are out there getting fucked up instead of, you got a guy that has 1 million followers on Instagram over there. You got another gentleman here who's killing it in the real estate game. Another guy who's killing it in the fucking real estate game here in your market. And we do okay. And you got a young lady here who's been in the game, and has so much knowledge, and yet people are out there at the bar getting fucked up and, whatever.
Moving on, Carlos.
That could be an ego.
We're moving on.
We're moving on?
Yeah.
That could. You guys are in the right room. You guys are in the right room.
He talks a lot.
Moving on.
Hey,
they're all gems, but
this is not a question I have here, but I asked it. I do events. I do a lot of training stuff too, and I always ask this question at events, and I'm not going to ask you guys to raise your hand, but if you haven't started and you've been coming to events like this and you've been doing it for years and you haven't started, what's the one piece of advice you would give to people today to get their ass in gear?
Ma'am, we'll go ladies first.
Which, by the way, probably not very many in this room. They're all out there.
Successful people do what unsuccessful people won't. That's the bottom line. So, we were talking about marketing. Go door knock. You know what I mean? I told you guys probate is the most valuable lead. You can go get that yourself from the post office, and you can knock on doors. You can pick up the phone. There are things that you can do. At the end of the day, take action. Take massive action. I said it before. Speed of implementation is also the cost of deliberation. It's said another way, it's the cost of deliberation. Deliberating costs you way more than you could ever imagine.
So my formula is very simple, okay? So you have a vision. Everybody in here has a vision, that's the first step, right? You have a vision, and then you focus. You shut off all the noise. All the noise, everybody's telling you no, you can't do it, and, friends that are inviting you out to the club, and, whatever television show, most of you probably watch the Kardashians, I'm assuming, right? And, no, I'm just joking, you don't. So you shut off all, you focus, then you have to sacrifice, like Pace said, I may have a balance now, but I didn't have that balance when I began, right? I may have that, so, again, vision, focus, sacrifice. What does that mean? That means you might have to put everything on the line. That means you might have to have that conversation with your significant other and say, hey, babe, I'm sorry, but you're not going to see me for the next year or two very often, and neither are the kids, but I'm doing this for us, right? So you're going to have to, I like that. See, I got a pump over here. I got in the yellow. He knows what I'm talking about. So you're going to have that conversation. Vision, focus, sacrifice, okay? And most importantly, you don't give up. You just don't give up. You don't fail until you quit. Okay, and that's what happened with me. Okay, so again, I quit my job March of 2016. And man, I've been able to freaking fly on private jets, buy a freaking Rolls Royce. More importantly, give financial freedom to my family, which is probably everybody's goal, right? In just 3 years. 3 years. So again, there's no magic sauce. Literally, you have a vision, you focus, you make the sacrifices, and you don't give up. You keep fucking going, period.
What was the question?
Well, hey, why don't we, I don't want to interrupt the question, but like, you know, we got 15
We're
20
firing the
or so.
flashcards. You guys are here. You guys want to ask questions, right?
Yeah.
So we're giving you mics. Who's got a question?
Q&A, so raise your hand. Ryan's going to come out and...
Sorry, bro.
Okay, first of all, I wanted to...
In here?
I want to go ahead and thank Donnie, first of all, because I saw you at First Tuesday with Ryan, and that really inspired me, and since then, I've took my business to the next level. I've closed 5-6 deals since then, so I want to thank you.
That's amazing.
I want to thank you for that, man. Without you, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that. So, you know, round of applause for Donnie, maybe.
That's amazing, bro.
I really appreciate you. Moving on to, I have so many questions, but I guess I'll take it to one right now. For those of you who are in virtually wholesaling in different markets, my only question is logistically, how do you guys handle stuff like showings, if it's an occupied property? I know it's a very specific question, and I know we're probably here for more generalized questions, but...
That's a great question, because, yeah, I used to do fix and flips and just wholesale. I felt like I had to go to every appointment. The first thing that you have to understand is you're going to lose deals. It's going to happen. You're going to fuck up. You're going to make mistakes, but it's part of learning. The second thing you have to understand is you have to be solution-oriented. Every situation, there is a solution every single time. So it's just a matter of being solution-oriented. If the owner's there, cool. You walk one person through the house. You sell it sight unseen, whatever you have to do. Go ahead. Next question.
In terms of showings, so who do you, I know you have boots on the ground in terms of getting pictures and stuff, but do you trust those same people to do showings as well?
So we actually train the people that walk through the property. So we train the seller. We let them know that, hey, we're letting our money partners and our contractors through the property. They're going to be walking through the property. And we make sure that the buyers are very vetted and that they understand for future business because, hey, if you fuck us, we're going to fuck you. Like, it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? You have to protect each party and you have to prepare with proper expectations of what happens, especially if it's owner occupied.
Okay, I think I'll cut it there. I don't want to take anybody else's time. Again, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you.
No problem, man.
Awesome. Next question.
Y'all got to raise hands. Nobody? There we go. I'll tell y'all have an amazing opportunity right now because I'm really excited about this up here. So.
Hey, before you ask that question,
Hold on.
there was a question I've been dying to answer a little bit ago.
Oh, go for it.
These guys killed it on the answer, but what's your name again? I'm sorry, you're from LA. We're hanging out tomorrow. Yeah. What's your name? Edwin, right? Okay, sorry guys, I have to pee too, so I'm like, my brain is floating. I apologize. So Edwin comes up to me, and this is my answer for anybody that's first getting started. They need to get off the slump, as Mike Hambright said. I need to get out of a slump. I've been watching YouTube videos. I've been going to seminars. I've been doing stuff, but I just can't break through. I can't get that first contract. Edwin comes up to me, and he's saying, hey, I have this problem. I've got these leads, but I'm not closing. What I would do is go to people in your market that you know are doing deals and go to them and say, will you go on an appointment with me? Will you help me get on the phone with the seller? And what are we doing tomorrow? We're going to go meet with your seller tomorrow, right? I'm in Dallas for one day, and people say, what do you want to do? Well, you want to eat good food, and I want to go on appointments. That's all I want to do. So there's other guys in your market that will want to help you. So anybody that's in this market, reach out to anybody on Instagram and say, hey, will you go on an appointment with me? They'll want to go. I promise you, if they're part of the deal or if they just want to express some education that they learned a year ago or whatever, I promise you. So guys, if you have appointments and you're just starting out, ask somebody else who's already getting deals to go on appointments with you. Become friendly with people in your market. Like Carlos talked about, we're all like brothers in Phoenix. It is so fun. We see each other all over the place. We give each other hugs. It is so fun. Go create that same atmosphere in your own little market. And I promise that your learning curve will go from a year down to 3 months, and you don't have to fight so hard. So, sorry, I had that pent up. I wanted to get that out.
So I just want to thank Propelio because a lot of y'all guys are on there, and I think y'all are badass for doing this for free. I consume myself with everything that y'all say and everything that y'all do, and I think that's pretty cool that y'all do something free like this for us local, and I just think it's pretty kick-ass. And also, she said you're coming out with a CRM.
Yeah, well, first of all, Propelio.com, sorry to migrate over, but it already is a CRM. We just vocally say that it's probably not as good as other CRMs. That being said, Propelio 2.0 will have an updated one. At the end of the day, though, I'm not the software guy, so it's when does that come out? Go talk to Nate in the other room. But in the meantime, I don't want to take this time to self-promote. More time for these.
Next question.
Next question. Well, we got one right here. Sorry, brother. You had like 20 minutes up earlier.
How's it going, y'all? I'm Jason. I was wondering, especially for Carlos and Donovan, scaling and growing your team. I'm getting crushed with leads and need help, and wanted to know about cold callers and acquisitions. Kind of a two-part question. Do your cold callers also act as your acquisitions, or do you have people that specifically do cold calling and then acquisitions go out? And when you bring them on, were y'all looking, especially your first hires, were you looking for people with experience in real estate already, or training them from the ground up?
So we outsource all cold calling. It goes all to VAs just because even we test the water still, but it just doesn't make sense to cold call in office especially when you're getting leads like you are, because you have leads, right? Yeah, so I would delegate that all to VAs just because it's not worth the time, and have your acquisitions just work warm leads. The second part, scaling a team, I always recommend hire people that are smarter than you, hire people that are closers, people with sales experience, and yeah, like if you really want to scale a team, you can't do it by yourself. At the end of the day, it's just impossible. You can go so far, but then you're going to hit a plateau because you only have so much time, you only have so many resources, versus building a team. Hire people that are smarter than you, more sharper than you, because once you surround yourself with an environment, you start elevating each other. So that's my 2 cents.
So your question was if your cold callers should be handling your incoming untouched leads? Okay. So do you have an acquisition manager, or are you the acquisition manager? You are the acquisition manager. Okay. So you should be handling all the untouched leads. Okay, yourself. The first person that you may want to hire to actually get an organization going is probably a junior acquisition / follow-up manager that, if you let a lead kind of slip through as an untouched, you talk to this person, they're like, okay, follow up with me in 2 weeks, and then you somehow forget, maybe Podio doesn't remind you to follow up with that person. At least your follow-up manager / junior acquisition manager will be hitting those leads for you, bring it back to life, warm it up, get it back to you. Now, if your question was, who should be handling untouched leads, it should be you. You should be handling all untouched leads. If a cold caller produces a lead, you should be handling it. If a direct mail lead comes in, you should be handling it. Pay-per-click lead comes in, you should be handling it. Now, RVN SMS, you should have VAs filter that out for you, then upload it to a web form, put it into Podio. Once you verify that it's a qualified lead, then you should be handling it. Does that answer for you? Okay.
Can I say something about that? You're a killer, and you have a genius zone, and that's probably closing the sale, and you need to stay in that genius zone as much as you can. So what he's saying is true. Remember when I said you need a lead manager? You need somebody who's going to take all of that stuff that sucks your bandwidth because you don't know if those leads are opportunities or not. You want low-hanging fruit, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need to forgive yourself for that, because that's where you make the most money, is when you're killing crap, right? So a lead manager, whatever it is that you want to call it, a junior acquisitions person, a lead manager, is the person that's going to go in, they're going to detect motivation, and the moment they detect motivation, now you want that off of your plate, now that turns into low-hanging fruit, that gets pushed back to you to convert. But you stay in your genius zone and you protect it at all costs from everything else. So there's all kinds of ways that you can automate that. Automation is everything. Automate to dominate. That's John Martinez. It was in my slides and I didn't get to it. But John Martinez, just a friend of mine, just posted on Facebook and said, he was talking about, I'm telling you, I'm all about the hustle, guys, but at some point, I'm talking to people who've been doing this for a long time and they're saying, I'm tired. So I want to circle back around. I want to push back on you a little bit on the hustle thing. When you're starting to build a business, it is absolutely critical that you know what you want your business to look like, and you build that now. And don't compromise on that, because if you honestly think that you're going to build a business now and somehow magically down the road it's going to turn into something else, that's not how it happens. Know what you want your life to look like now and force your business to look like that now. You can do it. Just require it of yourself.
So she said automate to dominate, right? And you guys all heard the cliche saying of you must delegate to elevate, right? So I'll give you a small example. Like I mentioned earlier, and I'm not bragging. I think my CFO is probably getting drunk also with the other people out there. But oh, she's right there. Okay, cool. All right. So
She's getting drunk in here.
she's getting drunk in here. That's okay. That doesn't make it any better, but okay. So, Brittany, how many deals in the pipeline do we have right now? 60. How much gross revenue in the pipeline is projected? Over 700K. Okay. So, I didn't even bring a laptop with me. I have a sales director that handles all my acquisition guys. I have 6 acquisition managers. I have 12 junior acquisition managers. I have 1 TC, which is a transaction coordinator, 2 disposition managers, right? I have a CFO, and then I have, what is Courtney? She's a business manager. Guys, if you don't build now, you don't delegate, like you're never going to have the second most important thing, which is the freedom of time. I'm telling you, I don't even know an address in our pipeline. I don't know one address, and there's over 60 deals in there. I didn't bring a laptop with me. I remember the days where I used to have to travel with the laptop everywhere. I didn't even bring a laptop. I came here to enjoy myself. As you can see, I got a couple of drinks here. Give Donnie one. What was that? I got my cowboy boots. I only wear these in Texas. I bought them here. I only wear them in Texas, and I wear them to the Cowboy games. Go Cowboys. Woo! Woo!
So, one of the things that I was going to say about building a system in automating, you would be so surprised what you can do. For example, the technology available. You can build bots. We build bots for lead generation systems that by the time the person gets on the phone, they're like, yeah, I was talking to Susan on Instagram, and we're like, there is no Susan. You know, that's a bot you've been talking to. But it's so real that there's a conversation going back and forth. They're like, you know, where do you live? You know, what type of job you have? And they're answering these questions. And it's a bot that's doing it. And then if the bot gets hung up and doesn't, you know, have a question or an answer that it can do, it sends it to a real person. It pops up on their cell phone, and a real person engages in that conversation and then lets the bot take back over from there. So you can have bots do a lot of cool stuff for you. I do travel with a laptop, by the way.
Time for 2 more questions.
Give it up for his blazer. And bow tie. Give it up for his bow tie. GQ.
Okay.
Okay, I want to apologize. I know I already asked a question. I got one more. Okay, so I know Donnie, you said, and I think Carlos, you've also said that you guys don't step foot into a house until you have it under contract, correct? So my question is, I've been trying to follow that same type of philosophy, but how are you building urgency in these sellers after sending DocuSign to them? Because I have an issue where I'll send them DocuSign, we'll agree verbally upon a deal, and then they'll hold on to the DocuSign, they'll maybe shop my offer around, I don't know what they're doing, and then they'll come back and be like, you know what, nah, I need more, or whatever the case may be.
All right, let me give you a quick answer, because I talk a lot. You guys follow me on IG, I do talk a lot. Why? I love talking, and I love people, and people love me.
Quick answer.
Quick answer. Hey, Mr. Seller, are you near a computer? Literally. You understand what that means? You're sending a DocuSign, right? Hey, Mr. Seller, are you near a computer? I can actually send you the agreement. Not contract. Contract's a bad word. That sounds like handcuffs. I can send you the agreement right now, and we can go over it right now. Because if you have any questions or concerns, nobody is more eligible to answer those questions than me. And if you're near a computer, I'll send it right now. We can go over it. That's the quick answer is, are you near a computer right now?
To follow up with that, you are going to have people that are stubborn. I don't want to look over it. I got to talk to my attorney or whatever. We have timers, so we call it like a fear of loss tactics. Like we're going to park whatever. How much is the house? $200,000. You have to understand we're actively in the market right now to buy a property, and I only have just enough to buy this house. That's why I'm talking to you right now. So I can't wait a couple days because I'm going to lose an opportunity. So I'm going to give it 24 hours, and unfortunately, my boss is only going to give me that much time to put that money aside to purchase your property. And usually they sign it within a couple minutes.
Awesome. So one more question, guys. Oh, here we go, right here.
So to expand upon
Oh, the A students in the front row asking all the questions.
So to expand on the acquisitions managers and how you guys hire those, where do you find them, and then what is the training process like after? Do y'all pay somebody to go source you guys these acquisition managers, or is it just Indeed.com? I'm sure at this point you guys are social media and you got.
How many friends do you have on Facebook?
I don't know.
How many?
I don't
Look
know.
at it.
Huh?
Look at your Facebook. Look at your Facebook.
I know.
It's okay. What is the number?
Where are they at? 2,574.
All right, post this on your Facebook right now since you have it open.
Okay.
Looking to expand my company, hiring an acquisition manager.
Jason, you doing this too?
Inbox me for more details.
All right, so kind of what Donnie said. So if you have any experience in the following, right? Door-to-door sales, car sales, solar panel sales, customer service experience, collection experience, DM me. So you can pull from there. I'll be honest with you, if you're a drug dealer and you want to correct your life, inbox me. But most of our people came from my Instagram, but Brittany does have ads that she runs on like Indeed.com, Jobbing.com, Monster.com. By the way, for some reason, like those are like extremely outdated. Like now it's all social media. Like you said, Facebook, Instagram, it's crazy. You'll find so many people there, but they got to have the same vision that you do. So it's a tough sale, but if they see it, they'll be great, And I know Pace has a different way, and Miss Christina does have a different way also, so I'll let them go.
I like that you call me Miss Christina. It's kind of nice. We represent a lot of clients. And I would say that if you have a social media presence, that's potentially a way. I would say that the vast majority of our clients are going for people. I hear probably most commonly car sales. As far as acquisition, I've heard that is just a really, really good piece of your resume. The other thing, guys, honestly, I showed you my culture index. I think there's really something to be said. I don't know if many of you have heard of this, but I think there's something to be said for profiling people. I know that investors on a big scale really do that. I don't know many investors that operate on a bigger level that don't profile these people, and they understand what their personality type needs to look like, and they have people take a simple test, whether it's DISC or culture index or predictive index or any of these things. There's something that will tell you what somebody's profile looks like, and that can save you just a lot of heartache. I honestly don't know any really high level people that don't require. We require, frankly. We won't even interview you unless you've taken Predictive Index. We won't even interview you. Yep.
So I own another business as well. I own assisted living and behavioral health homes. So we take care of people that obviously need a place to live and somebody to take care of them, right? So I have about 70 beds, which requires me to have a bookkeeper. I can't tell you how hard it was to find a bookkeeper until I actually went to my social media and said, I need a bookkeeper. It was crazy. Actually, the person who helped me out was Annie, Evo's sister. I posted a little image on there and I said, man, I'm having a hard time finding a bookkeeper. And what it is on, not Instagram, but Craigslist, Indeed, and a couple other places, we'd put profiles, and these people just blast out their resume to everybody, right? They just type in bookkeeper, they blast out their resume, and you get this random resume. I tried filters, I tried all sorts of stuff. The best filter that you guys can apply to hiring people before the DISC test, because the DISC test is super important, is your own personal circle of influence. Those people are not going to refer pieces of shit to you, hopefully. They're going to refer people to you that will most likely improve your business, because then if that person doesn't work out, it's on them, right? So Annie refers somebody to me. She's working out amazingly. And it was literally a 15-word post, kind of like what Donnie just did to you. That's all it took. So it's really simple. I probably will never hire other than Facebook or Instagram ever again.
How many leads did you get? How many leads did you get? He didn't post it. I'm going to go, what's your name? Oh. I'm going to go hire like 3 people on your friends list.
I actually like the idea, as we're sitting here brainstorming, I like the idea of saying, is there anybody that would recommend someone else? And then maybe profiling them from there. So I'm looking to hire this. I'm looking for recommendations from friends only. Is there someone that you would recommend? And maybe starting there. That just feels like a cool idea to me, and then maybe, sending them through some kind of DISC or culture index. I mean, that's, so it's not just anybody, not, hey, I'm looking for a bookkeeper, but hey, my friends out there, I'm looking for a bookkeeper, I'm looking for an acquisitions manager. Is there anybody that you would personally recommend? I like that.
Social media is a crazy world. There are so many private Facebook groups and even public Facebook groups that people all the time will tag friends, and someone will say, hey, do you know somebody that knows how to do this? And next thing you know, they're tagging all their friends and everything like that. So if you are really engaged on social media, you'll always be in business.
Absolutely. Brittany, why do you have a microphone?
Because I want to ask the question that nobody in here has asked. We've all been blessed with this free event that we're all attending right now, and we're getting all of these wonderful gems from you guys. But from here, how can we get in contact with you guys? What can we do for these people to gain some more knowledge, to expand their business and scale to the next level?
Well, I think social media-wise, just like Pace and Mr. Paul, and I don't know if Donnie does this, but I try to get back to everybody, whenever I'm asked a question, through DMs. Like, I really try to get back to everybody. I really try, you know. And it's not easy, but I try, you know. So I think that's a very, like, if you look at this, how many requests does that say on the unread? 99 plus, right? So I eventually will get to those messages and reply to everybody. Absolutely. So social media is the easiest thing for me. That's speaking for myself.
Please do not DM me because I probably won't respond to you. I don't even have an Instagram. I have a Facebook.
DM on MySpace? I never had
I hate you again. But for me,
Cindy Lauper, Nick's tape out there.
Postalimpact.com is my website. Virtualleadmanagers.com for those of you who are interested in virtual lead managers. And even if you're not, guys, on Postal Impact, I have a download. It's a book that I wrote, ebook about getting probate leads yourself and telling you exactly how to do it. Postalimpact.com will give you that. Virtual lead managers, there's a report on there that tells you what the high value tasks are if you're going to either have someone do follow up on your leads or be a lead manager. And that's a free report to you as well.
If you guys ever come out to Phoenix for the All-In event, hit me up. I'll take you on an appointment. We'll hang out. I really will. I take people on appointments all the time. So I actually have a guy coming in next week. I've never met him. He's just a friend of a friend that just started following me. And he says, I need help. I go, come on out. He's coming out from El Paso. He's going to hang out for 2 days and go on appointments. So if you guys ever want to go on appointments, I was a contractor for a long time, so I have a really hard time being in front of a desk. I have a really, really hard time being in front of a desk. So I have a team that is in front of a computer. I have amazing people in my office, but you will never find me there. I'm on appointments, running job sites, at assisted living facilities.
I call BS. You're always at a golf course.
I am golfing a lot. So if you guys want to golf, if you want to go on appointments, you guys go to Carlos or Alex's events. You come and hang out, hit me up, we'll go to lunch, and I'll show you what an assisting living facility looks like. I'll show you what a subject to deal looks like. I'll show you what a flip looks like. Come hang out. You'll either be in my Prius or my truck, and we'll hang out.
What's your Instagram?
Pace J Morby, PACEJMORBY.
Paul, what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Paul. Yeah. just Paul. Just plain old Paul.
Give it up for his blazer.
Hey, let me say, Ryan, you are awesome. I really appreciate this. These are great people.
Yeah,
great people.
I do have one final question. You had a point.
If you want to connect with me, Instagram Paul. Also, send me a DM, either myself
or to his bots,
or the bots. We'll respond. We'll give you access to a bunch of slides and everything like that. Also, I'm going to post a story here tonight where you can send a text message to our nerd hotline, and we'll send you out all kinds of cool free ebooks and stuff like that.
So I do have one final question. This is for everybody, and it's going to be rapid fire. What are three action steps that the people here can do tonight to better their marketing, their lead generation, or whatever? And I know I'm putting you on the spot, and you can repeat other people, but 3 action steps that they can do tonight, and I'll even throw Mike in the mix because of that
throw
jacket.
me in there, huh?
Yeah, too. So
Yeah,
it could be anything, because I know 3 action steps, rapid fire, go.
I'll start with one. Make a commitment before you leave here that anything other than success is not an option for you.
2 and 3.
Let's go around. Let's go around.
All right.
Next. Oh, sorry.
I honestly think I was surprised at how many of you said that you don't have any kind of system that helps you to track your leads. From a marketing standpoint, if nothing else, you need something that houses those leads and organizes them for you. You've got to have that. You can't keep doing the tick thing. There are literally free CRMs out there. If Propelio's not quite ready, Podio, I think ReallyFlow has a free, a light, kind of a light version. There's Investor Fuse. I mean, there's all kinds of CRMs. I think that's like a must. I really do. Even if it's just to help keep you organized because we're not organized by nature?
Real quick, just to throw this out there, who's ever heard of a book called Flip by Nick Reese? That book is like $10. Read that book. Read that. It's $10. You know what I mean? Like that. I read that book twice. Like that was the first real estate book I ever read. Who's ever heard of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind? T. Harv Eker. Read that book. That, you know, and then most importantly, like, take massive action. Take massive action. Massive action. Okay. Take massive action. Even if you have small victories every single day, like you're gonna be that much closer to where you want to be. Okay. And then know the difference between being motivated and being committed. Okay? Motivation is like, it's so different than actually commitment. Okay? I went to the freaking gym and we're staying at it's called the Gaylord Texan. You guys ever heard of the Gaylord? The Gaylord Texan? Their gym is crazy. They got like a full gym. Okay? I wasn't motivated. I was drinking with Donnie till 2 in the morning. I was not motivated to go to the gym. But I have a commitment that I have to go to the gym 4 times a week. So do you guys realize the difference between motivation and commitment? Good.
Motivation is emotion. Commitment is action.
Ooh. All right, so my girl's probably gonna be mad at me because I'm gonna say this, but first step, stop being a bitch. You can't, like, I mean, if you don't have balls, you can't make babies. You know what I mean? No offense to the women. The second thing is, a dream is bullshit. Set goals. Set goals. Dreams are what you do when you sleep. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't work when you sleep. I love working. Enjoy the hustle, right? The third thing, hit your goals, right? Make that your task. Make that your duty, like Grant Cardone says, and actually physically hit them. Because if you don't set goals, then you're just freelancing, right? But if you don't hit your goals, then you're just bullshitting, right? So that's my 2 cents.
A lot of the people that I talk to are brand new, which means they still have a 9 to 5, and I don't mean that literally. It could be a 7 to 3 or whatever it is. And so my advice is for those people specifically. Don't go home and watch Netflix. Don't go home and watch HBO. Don't go home. Like, set some time apart for the week for that kind of stuff. But what I would do is I would say, how long will it take me to go knock 100 doors? Okay, so the metric for knocking doors, for anybody that actually knocks doors repeatedly, is 100. For every 100 doors you knock and you stay consistent, you're going to get a deal. Okay? Every 100 doors. You're going to get 70 doors that don't ever answer, but you're going to get 30 that do. 20 of them are going to say F you, and 10 of them are going to be actual conversations. Okay? Don't just go knock random doors. I'm not a huge fan of driving for dollars. I'm a bigger fan of driving for pre-foreclosures and knocking pre-foreclosure doors. Go knock 100 of those doors and map it out over, let's say that I'm a 9 to 5 guy. I get off work at 4. I start knocking doors from 4:30 to 7:30 every single night until I get a deal. You're not taking your whole life away, guys. You're taking 3 hours away. And if you really want to watch Netflix, watch it while you're freaking driving or in the back. Or an audiobook or whatever, you know what I'm saying. So I would start there, right? And that's the push-ups that I'm talking about. Go do the push-ups. Go build the muscle. That's going to build the muscle. You're going to have conversations. You're going to learn things without even knowing you're learning things because you're putting in the reps. And that's my biggest advice for people that don't have money, they're tied up in your job or in their job, and if your girlfriend, your wife, your kids need to see you more, take them with you and make them your navigator. Make it fun. Tell your girl, like, hey, will you be my navigator tonight? I need to go visit 15 houses. I need to drop off notes. I need to do whatever. Build your team with your family, your kids, make it fun, and you're gonna have a lot more fun doing it, and I just go knock 100 doors. So I have a guy in Phoenix. His name's Ramon. A lot of guys know it. He was driving for dollars. Last week I told him, dude, don't drive for dollars. Go knock pre-foreclosures. He went out, knocked doors, got a deal, made $10,000. This was just Monday. He got the contract. So it works if you do. I know as cliche as that is, but I'd rather just say go do the push-ups.
And real quick, just to add to what Pace said, if your girl's not willing to drive you around to do that, you got to dump her.
100%.
Because you know what?
That's the best action item of the night.
Yeah. My girl did my bandit signs, now she's reaping a lot of benefits. So if she's not willing to do that for you, you got to dump her and get yourself another girl, okay? Yes. Do you agree?
Yes. It's on my to-do list. On top of that, stop being a bitch. That's on my do list.
All right, Paul. So three things change people that you hang out with. If you surround yourself with successful people, you'll become successful. There's nothing stopping you from walking up to a bunch of millionaires and hanging out with them. They're no different than you. I used to think that rich people were stuck up, snobby, or anything like that. And I find out that they're not. They're just ordinary people. They put their pants on just like everybody else. And so hang out with successful people, volunteer, mentor, do whatever you can, do an internship, get around successful people. Places, go to different places. Instead of going to the movies on Friday night, go to events like this. The places that you go, knocking on doors, whatever, change people, places, and things, the things that you do. And you'll be successful.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Getter, Pace Morby, Donovan Ruffin, Carlos Reyes, Christina Krause, and your moderator for the evening, Mr. Mike Hambright. For real? There's like at least 100 of y'all in here. Come on now. Get some love. That's a little better. Thank you, everybody. It's about 9:30, 9:40. We'll keep going. The bar's probably still open. We'll keep the bar open for another 15, 20 minutes or so. So network, still time to hang out. It's been a long night. Thank you again for being here. And we'll see you in October.
Propelio TV is sponsored by Noble Mortgage and Investments, Batchkip Tracing, Think Multifamily, CreativeCashflow.com, and Lifeiner.
Want to keep up with the latest Propelio TV daily? Be sure to subscribe and click that bell.